Well, look up that number two. I'm choking off pork chop right now. Um, part two, body mechanics, and not choking on pork chop. Your body mechanics in a fight will be like life and death. Alright? And the reason I can put it to you this way is because I know my way around a fight. And the thing about fighting, if you're in the UFC, if you're MMA, if you're rec or whatever other sports arena, promotion, whatever, everything you're doing is controlled. Alright? You need to know this going in. It's not about politics, it's about your skill level. But it is also very, very much controlled. Know this now. Alright? When all these things in the 90s busted out, I didn't weigh enough then. I don't weigh enough now. Plus, as a person who had a hip replacement, there's no way in hell that they're legally going to let me get in any ring or promotion. None of that. That shit's not going to happen. I could probably do some shit behind the scenes. I could probably be a coach. But as far as literally being able to get in the ring, that shit ain't going to happen. They ain't going to allow me to do that because I'm a big liability. Something goes wrong with the hip. They got to pay for it. And it'll mostly be my fault. And they'll be like, well, we didn't let you get in the ring. Then they'll be like, you're fired and we'll sue you, that kind of shit. So here's body mechanics 101 for sure. In an arena or a sporting event, it is controlled fighting. You earn your spot. That part's not controlled. Your ability to take a beating or give a beating, that part is not the controlled environment. The controlled environment is the arena itself. But that's my belt. When you are in the ring against an opponent of equal size and stature, maybe not equal reach, maybe not equal height, but equal weight for the most part, equal skill supposedly, it's going to be a fair fight, but it is controlled. And by controlled, I mean a few simple basic things. Alright? First off, you have rules and regulations. And your regs and your rules will decide how this fight's going to play out. If you're going to get technically knocked out, TKO, if you're going to get KO'd, those are some of the rules. But you cannot eye gouge, you cannot hit in the testicles, you cannot gouge in the eyes, and it's more than likely you probably cannot use Kempo, which means you can't use throat pressure point grips and shit like that. Chokeholds are definitely banned. You can put people in arm bars, Fuji Warlock, triangle choke. You can put them in certain moves, but you cannot purposely try to break your opponent. There are rules and loopholes, but there are rules. This is why it's a controlled environment. Now we talk about your rounds. You have anywhere between 5 3-minute rounds or 3 5-minute rounds or some shit like that. I don't know the exact extent of that, but I do know that it is a controlled environment. You're not going to go until someone is asleep, but if you can knock someone out in the first 2 minutes of the first round, ding ding, your status goes up. And if you can do that every time you're in a fight, ding ding, your status goes up. Now, you may get hyped up here in your head and think that you are the best in the world, and then someone will come along, ding ding, first 4 seconds in the first round. Someone, a no-name undercard, could be that one. It could be his lucky night. It can happen. It could be his lucky night. And next thing you know, your status just went from here all the way back down because you were knocking people out in the first 2 minutes of a round. This guy comes in and knocks you out in 45 seconds. And then your stock goes from all the way back down to where you started. And it's called being knocked off your high horse. So in a controlled environment, we got 5 minutes to tap, 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 jab, tap, tap, switch stance, tap, tap, uppercut, uppercut. And in that 5 minutes, in that first round, I got to do everything I can to, one, not get winded and get tired so that I can make it to the second round and hopefully not get knocked the fuck out, while my opponent is thinking the same thing. We got to get to round 2. We got to get to round 2 because if we get to round 2, the purse goes up. And when I say that, you may think that this is a line of bullshit, but to be honest, the longer the fight goes, the more people want to add more money into the fight, and that means the promotion gets paid, the boxers get paid, and everybody that endorses is getting their pockets fat. All right. The worst part of the deal is the guys that getting their ass kicked get the last bit of the pay after it's done. So if you're a winner, you get a pretty good chunk. If you're a loser, you still get a pretty good chunk, but that comes after everyone else gets paid. So you have to understand that your body mechanics are very important. You need to know how your body works. You need to know how much of an ass whooping you can take and how much you can give. So again, you're going to think to yourself, why are you talking about this? What does that have to do with body mechanics? You have 365 pressure points in the human body. They are used to dominate, manipulate, and bludgeon people. And also, in UFC fights and MMA fights and whatever other promotion, you are not allowed to use your pressure point tactics on anyone. Now, if you put someone in a Fujiwara arm bar, eventually that arm is either going to snap, or it's going to go numb, or something's going to happen. And, you know, your job in the ring is to knock your opponent out or make them tap out. You know, it's not wrestling where you get the 3-minute tap, you know, and then they ring the bell. It's not like that. In the UFC, it's anything and everything goes except for testicle hits, eye gouging, biting, the normal shit. You know, you're not going to get into that ring. Give me a second. I know I have one. I need to mold the damn thing, but I do know I have one. Yeah, that's going to be bad. So, if I don't have one, I need to go buy one. But I'm pretty sure I have one. I have a mouthpiece. Not just the one that I'm using right now to talk. For those who are sarcastic like me. There we go. So, controlled environment. You're not getting into that arena. I haven't molded this thing. I need to. But I gag easy. Sorry. I like to keep my dinner. But you're not getting in there without this. So, you're going to need one of these. I highly recommend that you get one. Everlast is where I got this. Keep that in a better accessible spot. I probably should put it up there somewhere. But right now, I don't need it. But if you're going to get in there, you're going to have that. You're going to have gloves. You're going to be able to protect yourself at all times. And you know this because when in a fight, people do lose their teeth. They might bit my lip. Another reason why you have a mouthpiece. When you're in a fight, you bite your lip a lot. When you're in a street fight, you don't walk around with a mouthpiece. I mean, you can. If you're well prepared, you can walk around with a mouthpiece. But for all medicinal purposes of this video, you need that in a controlled environment. The streets are a whole nother ball game. We'll do that in the third video. Maybe the fourth video. Depends on how many interruptions I get. And now that my nose is running. You know, one more thing I didn't need for the day. So what's your body mechanics? You have to understand how this works. Okay, yeah, BC check. You have to understand how this works. In controlled environments such as fighting arenas, sporting events, you will understand 3 principles. Principle 1, you are getting paid to fight. You're not getting paid to win. You're not getting paid to lose. You're getting paid to fight. That's principle number 1 right there. Principle number 2, you are entering a ring where you are surrounded by a lot of spectators. And nervousness is going to be a part of that. So if you're hyped the fuck up and you don't live up to the hype, it's going to be really bad to lose. It also depends on if the other guy's hyped up higher than you. And rule number 3, or principle number 3 rather. In this controlled environment, there is one thing that is assured. 9 times out of 10, it is never broken, and it will be in every promotion that ever exists into the end of time. There are rules and regulations that will be, must be, and are going to be followed in that ring. Alright? You're not in there to commit mass murder. You're not going to go in there and ninja kick the shit out of somebody and try to kick their head off. In most of that perspective, sadly, at the same time, and as hypocritical as this sounds, you kind of are. Because you want the quick knockout. Because you don't know what this other guy's skill level is. Now, here's something that you probably don't get a lot of. And I will go into another video after this because I've had this for 10 minutes. If you don't study your opponent, if you hear about your opponent, but you don't study any of their videos or any of their fights, especially if you're a new guy coming in and you haven't studied Horace Gracie, or you haven't studied a Chuck Liddell, or a Ken Shamrock, or a Tito Ortiz, and you have to fight somebody who they have trained, but you have not studied their teachers, you're in deep shit. And I say that because, you know, you may think this shit's funny. You may think this is bullshit. But if I have to fight somebody who was trained by Hulk Hogan or The Rock, 2 things I'm going to tell you right off the bat. First, I'm going to go watch every Hulk Hogan and Rock video for their sporting job, for the arena. Say I'm becoming a professional wrestler and I'm trained by Triple H. But the guy I'm going against has been trained by The Rock or trained by Hulk Hogan or both. And I've only been trained by Triple H. First I'm going to study everything Triple H taught me. Then I'm going to go watch everything that The Rock does and everything that Hulk Hogan does. So that I'll know that whatever they taught this guy, I'll have a down-centered pack on what he's bringing to the table for the most part. But there's one thing that I don't know. I don't know what he already knows. I only know what his trainers know because, like me, he's a new guy coming in. So I don't know what he's done. I don't have access to him on NXT. It's going to be a problem. And if he doesn't have access to me, we're both going in wild cards. And then we have nervousness and combat stress. We know we're putting on a show. But we got to know what we're doing when we get in that ring so nobody gets hurt. Now, on the UFC side or the MMA side and the martial art field itself, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. So if I know I'm fighting somebody who is trained by Dan Severance or Ken Shamrock or Tito Ortiz or Danny Couture or Chuck Liddell or fucking Ken Shamrock's brother and damn it, the other guy came from UFC, Blackman I think was his name. I'm going to study all of those guys. I'm going to get at home. I'm going to watch them in front of a treadmill. I'll be walking. I'll have the TV on a treadmill. I'll be watching these guys. Because that way I'm going to be doing something while I'm doing nothing. So I'll be studying their moves. So I'll know what to look for. Let's say I am trained by the guy who came up with the Fujiwara armbar, who's Fujiwara something or another. So I'm going to watch him. So I'm going to learn how to escape that Fujiwara armbar without getting my fucking arm broken. You know, you're going to have to study your opponent's teachers so that you'll know what is in most of his arsenal. And then you're going to have to study your opponent. And it's best to study his teachers and him than to just study him. Because if you just study him, he's not going to show everybody everything that he's bringing to the table at the moment that the fight starts. All that game plan's gone out the window anyway. But it doesn't hurt to have in the back of your head, I've studied this guy, I've scouted him well, I know he does 3 kicks and a punch, so I need to block 3 kicks and a punch, and then when that bell rings, he's probably going to come out with a Superman. Like, ah! So, me not expecting that would wind up me going to sleep. Okay? So you can't underestimate him, even though you've studied him. You still have to bring to the table, what else does this guy bring, and how can I break his body mechanics? Alright? So, I know you think I got off track, but I didn't. I'm getting back on the body mechanics. That was just a small side hook to what you need to know about body mechanics. Your body mechanics simply work on your flow of blood and your skill level and how your offense and defense works in a fight. Part 3 is coming.
Plus, I want to really get a chop of this pork chop.